What do you think of when you consider paths after grad school? Maybe you go to work at a national lab, or somewhere in industry, or maybe you get into academia. But what about using the research you've done in school to develop a product and start a business? Dr. Clark has been a professor at Pitt for 30 years, and in 2013, he started a company to market a product he had begun developing at the university. His company, Diamond Kinetics, sells baseball accessories to analyze the motion of baseball swings and pitches. And just recently, Diamond Kinetics scored a partnership with Major League Baseball.
I coached my kids in baseball and softball from the time they started playing the game when they were really young. This was the early 2000s, and the tools for coaches and for analysis of the game hadn't changed in probably 30, 40, 50 years. Being the engineer and the one who wanted to quantify things, I was a little frustrated by the lack of tools that were out there, and that led me to these inertial measurement devices that were pretty much new at the time.
For the first time ever, accelerometers and angular rate gyros were being scaled down to a size that could be worn or placed on a piece of equipment. Though these wearable inertial measurement units were new, Dr. Clark used his background in sensors and dynamic systems to calibrate the IMUs to fit the job he needed, producing measurements of bat speed and arm motion. Once he gained enough knowledge about these new sensors and saw them as a viable tool for commercial use, Dr. Clark started Diamond Kinetics.
The question is, do you make the leap, or take the leap and do it yourself, start the company? I couldn't not do it because I had the skills, I had the passion, the time was right, and if I didn't do it, that would have probably always bugged me and eaten away at me, so I just had to do it.
Dr. Clark has taken a research project started in his university lab to a company that employs over 30 people, is constantly innovating, and is making an impact on the games of baseball and softball at all levels. You too can start this path you might not have considered going into grad school and embrace the rewarding journey from research to entrepreneurship.
At PNC Park a couple weeks ago, got on an elevator and a bunch of guys got on with me, and they were looking at my shirt with the DK logo and say, "That's Diamond Kinetics, right?" And they had no idea who I was, but they're like, "We love that product. We used it. We played ball in college, and we used it ever since we were in high school." And that immediate feedback and that use of your work in society is such a rewarding outcome of the startup.